that he's defending. That is worth a total of 15 victory points. So if I get it, it takes 15 away from him and gives it to me. So it's technically a 30-point VP swing.
Yeah, and you should remember that even though the hex is objective 5, since it's a multi-hex building, it's actually the entire building that's the objective. So in order for Arnold to take it, he's got to push all the Germans out of there or kill them.
Exactly. Yeah, anytime you have, thank you, Jordan, for that. Anytime you have multi-hex buildings with an objective, that is probably the hardest thing for people to remember, is that you can't have any enemy unit anywhere in the building for it to count as your capture. Okay, looks like Arnold's done. He still has his unit, his artillery gun, and the weapon that he gets to place after I'm done. And yes, to answer your question, this and the Facebook page are great ways to find opponents for this online. That's how I started. I think Charles and Arnold and I kind of a couple of years ago just started playing Combat Commander about once a week online, and here we are now.
Are there hidden units during setup?
Not in this particular scenario, but some of them will have something where hidden units are not hidden per se, but you may get to put them up after your opponent has put his up. So, but some scenarios will actually have something where it's obscured, or you don't know the exact makeup of it.
Thank you.
Sure, Arnold, I'll let you talk for a little bit while I'm setting up here.
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
Tell them some of your fanciful stories about how you win all the time at this.
I am undefeated in every single CCP game I've ever played.
Except against me.
Bullshit.
Jinx.
Well, I think probably one of the better things to talk about is the main differences between Europe and Pacific. Do you think that might be a good thing?
You can. You might want to just kind of give them a 10,000-foot view, because you might be comparing apples and oranges, because if they don't know this system, I wouldn't go too deep in it. But yeah, give them the idea.
Pacific is better, end quote. Well, really, actually, with Pacific, it's a lot more bloody and gory, in my opinion. The melee is really nasty. Also, there aren't a lot of dead cards, which hopefully we'll see here come up, unlike in Europe, which kind of pissed me off. So when I say dead cards, I mean cards that are not playable due to they're just garbage.
It's because the orders that they are don't apply to the situation. Like sometimes you'll have artillery requests or artillery denied cards that there are no artillery available in the scenario, and so they basically act as a filler in your hand that you have to spend an action to get rid of.
Still command confusion in Pacific?
Yes, but I believe Command Confusion Pacific actually has some secondary actions that you could use, unlike in this one, I believe.
They have them in this. A lot of Command Confusion orders have actions available in Europe. It depends. That mix is actually dependent on the nationality. So if you have, France and Italy are going to have more cards that are Command Confusion for both the order and the action. But like, say, the Germans will have Command Confusion, but then the action will be pretty useful.
And there are no retreat cards Pacific either.
Right. The route and rally system is completely different between Europe and Pacific. Pacific, you actually get cards that let you spend points towards rallying units, so you can actually just spend 3 points and rally 3 individual units. It's not as random as the Europe side. Europe spends a lot more of its elements on randomness as far as whether weapons break and stay broken or eliminated, things like that. You have a little more control on the Pacific side, which I think a lot of us appreciate just when we're playing it, because it gives you a little more control over your fate.
And
Yeah, in Pacific you can Jedi mind trick weapons to break. It's pretty cool.
yes, and guaranteed in this demo, I'm gonna play a card playing it Pacific ways, and Patrick's gonna rule spank me, guaranteed.
I'll beat him to it.
Or Jordan.
All right, you get to place your hidden gun now.
Are there bonsai attacks in Pacific?
Yes.
Oh yes. And I think that's a perfect example of what Arnold was saying about it is essentially much more bloody or bloodier. What a bastard. Okay, so one of the things that you can do in Europe that is it's not indicated as an objective there, but you can always try to exit your units off of the opponent's edge of the map. And what you'll do is, if you do that, you get the number of victory points depending on the type of unit. So a squad's worth 2 victory points. If you exit them off of the other end, they go on to the next time track space, and then they will come back. So essentially you're just marching them forward to some off-map objective, and you're getting points for it. And then they come back as a reinforcement later on. And Arnold's placement of his gun there. Go ahead.
During setup and playing the game, what is the stacking limit?
In all of Combat Commander Europe, the stacking limit is 7 individuals in a hex, and that means, so you can see a squad has 4 individuals printed on it, a team has 2, and then the leader has 1. So you could have a squad, a team, and a leader all in one hex. Anything beyond that, and then one of those units is going to break down into a team.
Not including weapons.
Right, weapons are completely individual. Now, that's the other difference in Pacific, where they changed that so that the more you have greater than 7 actually comes off of your defense ability, or your morale ability when you're rolling defense. So it hurts you to have more men crammed into tighter quarters, but they don't necessarily break down. Okay, I'm going to draw up my cards here. So I'm opening my window, and they've got nice little indicators there at the bottom, so you can see that I'm at the attack level, so I can see how far I need to draw up to. And my luck holds consistent as far as my draw.
Did you talk about hand size for what you do, attacker defender?
Yeah, I was indicating the upper left there. Oh, yes, that's a good point. If you open up your window, you can see that Arnold is he's a defender, so he only has 4 cards that he'll get, whereas I'm the attacker, so I get 6 cards. The best you can get is Invader, which I'm not sure how many of the scenarios in Europe have Invader, but in Pacific there's quite a few where the Americans are the Invader, and that's your largest hand size.
I think it's just Normandy. Battle pack.
That makes sense. Okay, you see on the map we have a variety of terrain types. If you don't have your terrain, if you don't have the printed game, I have a terrain card here with me. But there's a difference here between the concept of hindrance and obstruction. So you can fire through certain terrain types, and it will minimize the firepower, or it will degrade the firepower of the shot, but doesn't necessarily obstruct it. But certain features like the woods, uh, certain walls, depending on where they are in relationship, and buildings will completely obstruct a shot, so you have no line of sight through them. So line of sight is obviously, just like ASL, very important here. But you can also shoot through soft targets like the orchards there on the right. I can shoot through them, and it will take away from my firepower, but it won't necessarily obstruct them.
Patrick, what's the discard for the Germans?
Germans have the largest one. I think they can discard 6.
Yeah,
Essentially
6
their
for
whole
Germans, 5 for Americans.
And that becomes important because when you play some of the powers, you are, like the British, you are kind of stuck with a lot of your cards. You can't discard as many, so it degrades your ability to have options as far as the discard. Okay, well, I've got all my cards, and I get to go first, so let me think about what I'm going to try to do here first. One of the great dangers of playing or starting out as the attacker is that if you try to discard cards, there are often sneaky little cards for the defender player that will hurt your opponent if you try to discard. So if I get a stack of bad cards here, I don't necessarily want to try to discard all of them because I may trigger even worse from the German player, as Arnold has indicated by his mwahaha. But I am unfortunately going to have to discard here. And I will draw up 2 cards to replace. It is now Arnold's turn.
Discarding.
Same here. And this is just a kind of an inauspicious start for both of us because we just happen to get a handful of cards that don't really help either one of us based on our current positions. So this is not uncommon, but don't let that put you off the system. Okay. Back to you, Arnold.
All right. Let's shake some things up here. I'm gonna fire. Big gun, range of 10.
Okay, so whenever he fires an ordnance weapon like this, the IG-18 down there, he has to, any of the chits, the ordnance weapons will have a white banner across the bottom over their numbers, and you have to make a targeting roll first to see if you actually hit. So he has to try to, after he names his target, he has to try to make, or actually get a greater number than the range on 2 dice multiplied together, and then he will hit his target, and he can proceed with the normal attack.
Booyah!
So he got a 24, the 6 times the 4, and he only had a 2, 4, 6, 8 range to hit me, so he clocked me pretty good.
And here's for the fire.
So he takes the 10 that he got plus the 7, so that's 17 to hit me. And usually, what we do here, the technique we use is we just indicate that up there in the text box. That's a little reminder for me when I go to do my defense rolls. But first, he's going to do his event. Which has no effect, because there are no eliminated units right now.
Ooh.
Okay, so he's got a 17 on me. I've got a line unit that's sitting on a road, so there are 6 normally, and then they lose a point because they're sitting on that road in the open, so they're defending at a 5. But even if I get boxcars here, I'm still going to get suppressed. Here's my roll. And that's 9, so they're going to break. Luckily, that was still greater than half, otherwise he would have eliminated them outright. And that's all for that shot. So he would then say next order and proceed on with his next particular order.
Alright, Patrick, explain the route again. Do you have to be within a line of sight of a leader?
No, route is played on the opponent, not on units. And then any ones that are broken, you have to check to see if they run away. And what he'll do is he will check against the line unit there, which now they're actually a little stronger when they're broken. They have a little better battle cohesion, but they're still on that road, so their actual number is a 7. And any number that he gets greater than 7, which he did, he got 8 there, they have to move back 1 hex, which means they move off the map and are eliminated.
Roll for sniper, right?
Yeah, go ahead. There's no effect on that.
Boo.
And I'm now giving him 2 victory points for causing my line units to run away.
I'm done.
Half of his that you would have had the unit eliminated, is that specific to this scenario?
No, the route is always if you route them back off of the map, then they will be considered eliminated.
I'm sorry, I'm going back to the battle numbers themselves. His attack total was 17, and your defense was 9. And I think you said something like you were glad it was better than half, or you would have been eliminated.
Yes, that's right. If you don't make at least half of the total of the firepower, then it will actually do like a 2-step loss, and you'd be completely eliminated.
That's true for all the scenarios in the game?
Yeah, that's part of the basic system. Okay, well, I've got some work to do now. Okay, I'm going to utilize one of my artillery strikes.
Oh shit.
Okay, so the way this works now, it's similar to an artillery ordnance piece that he was using, but this is me using my radio to call in an artillery strike, and it has to activate a leader. So I'm going to activate Sergeant Bueller there. Bueller. And he's going to request a smoke bombardment. and I'm going to put it right there. So now I have to make a targeting roll against that, and if I hit it, then I check for drift. So obviously the farther away I make it, the harder it is to hit the actual target, and there's a chance that it may be an errant shot. But there's always going to be a little bit of drifting on this from the off-site artillery pieces. So I'm rolling against a 3 targeting. I need a 4 or better on 2 dice multiplied together. And I got it. So now I'm going to check for drift. Use this roll. So it goes in direction 6 first, and then 3. You can see down in the bottom there, the bottom right, you've got a little chart there to show you. Essentially, it goes back and forth, so it just wavers off a little bit and then comes back. And now I right-click on it, and I'm going to pop smoke into all of the hexes surrounding where it landed.
A 10, really?
Yes, really. Okay, so that area is blanketed in smoke for a while. At the end of every turn, or excuse me, whenever the time track marker advances, then the person who advanced the marker has to eliminate 1 smoke. There are also events in the deck that will cause breezes to come along and blow the smoke in a direction or make it dissipate completely.
I don't think there's any in Europe that blow the smoke in a direction. I think that's Pacific only.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing any. Yeah, it makes you remove even an odd, but it doesn't make it blow in a direction. I don't think. Just fires will spread that way. And I think I'm just going to draw up. I'm done.
Done.
What is this? Just sitting in your little chateau, waiting for me to come through the woods?
Yep.
All right. Well, then I will do a fire attack. And I'm activating the stack up there in B1. And anytime you have a unit, a line unit in this case, with an associated weapon that they're carrying, you have the option to fire them individually as 2 individual attacks or as a fire group. Both of these units have range to target, which I'm going to shoot at, which is down here.
Oh,
Shift
thank
T.
you.
It gets me every time. So they're going to shoot straight down at those elite rifles down there. And let's see, they got a lieutenant there, so shiny brass. And I think I'm just going to, I guess I will make 2 individual attacks.
Is that a low wall, by the way, Patrick?
Since I'm up against the wall, it has no effect on there. If you were up against the wall, it would give you a 1 to your cover. Actually, it'd give you 2 to your cover. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 individual attacks. The first attack is going to be the machine gun, and it's got a 6 firepower, so I add to that with this roll. So I add another 6. So now he rolls, each of the units in there roll against that 12 firepower.
The elite rifles is an 8 plus the leader makes it 9 plus the little house gives me a what? Plus 1 or 2?
3.
So roll for event. Nope. Leader's at 9 plus 3 is 11. 12. Sorry. Roll for event. Nope.
So you can see one of the basic tenets of the game is you don't really want to fire unless you can get overwhelming firepower from a fire group. The Americans are really powerful when they have a fire group, but just doing little piddly shots like this really kind of is just wasting a card. Plus, he's the defender. He really wants me to chew up the time track, and the more cards I have him pull, then more often he's going to get a time trigger opportunity. So this isn't really doing much for me, especially since he's in that house, which I didn't notice, but now I know. But here's the second shot. So I got a 6 plus 11 is 17 this time, a little better.
Alright, elite rifles, once again, it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Rolling. Patrick, what would you roll again?
I got a 17.
Ah.
And you got a 19, so you're good. Just pull your event.
Break the unbroken weapon closest to a random hex. There we go. Hey, that's you, Patrick. Look at that.
Woot! I think that's an IG 18.
Count against. I have a choice between a light machine gun and my IG, don't I? They're both 3 away.
Yes, you do. Okay, this is a good time to point out how that what those little indicators mean on the light machine gun. Now that it's broken, anytime from here forward that we have to pull a random card for snipers or any kind of random hex is asked for, if the column that it's asking for is either 5 or 6, then that light machine gun will become repaired. If it's a 7 or an 8, then it's completely eliminated and taken away.
Alright, so for my lieutenant, he's at 9, 10, 11, 12. Here's the roll. Damn it.
What? That ends that order.
Let me play by the rules here, Patrick. Hold on one second. You know how I like hiding my stuff, but is the rules say the weapons have to go on top of the unit carrying?
Yeah, I assumed that the squad was carrying it, but that's cool. Yeah. If we were playing face to face, you'd want to have a pretty good indication of which unit is attached to which weapon.
Somebody from the peanut gallery sent me a little text there.
They like to do that. Okay, and then I will just draw up and I'll be done. Okay, back to you.
What's your cover behind that wall now, Patrick?
I get a +2 for my cover, but I'm in the woods, so the woods already give me 2, so it doesn't matter.
Play recover for the lieutenant? Oh, wait a minute. How does it work in this one?
You recover all units, but your lieutenant's the only one that's broken.
I don't have to roll for it?
Oh yeah, you do have to roll for it.
I have to roll a 10 or less or 10 or more?
No, it's automatic. You're essentially pulling a card because he's going to be at a 13. So. Anytime you do a recover, you're trying to get less than their number, plus their morale number, plus the any cover that they're in. So since he was at a 13, there's just no way that he can fail that. But you still have to pull a card in case you might trigger an event.
Done. Come closer, Patrick.
Would that I could.